took some questions for a pregnancy question and answer. And so that is what I'm going to be doing in this video, is just answering your questions from Instagram. First one is from my friend, and it made me laugh. I won't put your name out there in case you don't want it out there, but she asked, did I use padsicles postpartum? What are padsicles? So padsicles are when you put things like anti-inflammatory essential oils, maybe witch hazel, maybe lavender. I would never put lavender near my hoo-ha. I don't even put it on my body. Lavender has some hormonal implications with it that I just don't touch it when I can avoid it. Anyways, a padsicle is when you put anti-inflammatory things on a pad and you put it in the freezer, because then it's frozen and then it feels good on your lady parts after giving birth. I did not use a padsicle, but I used a heating blanket. So I love heat. And even my doula said something. She was like, I was really surprised that you really held onto that heated blanket throughout the whole delivery. Most women are like, it's too hot in here. I need to cool down. Give me some ice chips. I respond really well to heat. It relaxes my muscles. It relaxes me. It soothes me. Cold makes me lock up and tense up. So I did not use a padsicle. I did use witch hazel wipes. You literally just put them like in between your butt cheeks if you have hemorrhoids. I don't know if I have hemorrhoids or not. I haven't seen any blood that would indicate hemorrhoids. I hurt my tailbone pretty bad during birth. It's not fractured, but it's definitely, things opened up. I got an x-ray and things opened up during birth and they're closing, and that's going to take a couple weeks. And so my tailbone, I think it was bruised. I heard 2 loud pops during delivery, and it's painful to sit right now. I'm sitting on a hemorrhoid pillow. So anyways, I tried all the things because I wasn't sure if it was hemorrhoids or just my tailbone that's bruised and hurting. So I didn't do padsicles. I've been sitting on a heated blanket. I finally stopped with that like 5 days ago, but I was using heat. Padsicles, though, are one of the top recommendations that I've read about and heard from others. So I would try it. I think most people do respond well to it, and they have lots of different things that you can do, but I mostly just wore the diapers and used those witch hazel wipes and sat on a heated blanket and just stayed off my butt. And so I think padsicles are a good idea, just not my thing. All right, did I do an epidural and how was the pain? I did not get an epidural. Thank goodness. That was in my birth plan. I didn't want to be offered an epidural and I didn't want to do one. And I didn't get one. I did do 1 dose of a very mild pain medicine in an IV. It was literally like a micro dose, and it just made me feel drunk for a couple minutes and then it wore off. Like, it was worn off before I delivered David. I did not get anything else beyond that. Thankfully, the delivery, it evolved very rapidly. It picked up really quickly. So contractions quickly moved to like 30 seconds apart. They checked me and I was fully dilated, and they were like, yeah, that means you can push. And I was ready to push. And then I was only pushing for 37 minutes, which is not a long time, especially for a first time birth. And so I did not get an epidural. I feel like I didn't even have time to get one, but I will say at one point I said, I think I want an epidural because I was in so much pain. At one point I even said, can I just get a C-section and can you put me to sleep? And they laughed at me. Everyone laughed at me and I was like, this is not funny. But I knew it was funny. And so yeah, no epidural. Really grateful for that. Which vaccines to get and which not to get? I would say don't get any vaccines. If you're asking me personally, I am anti all vaccines. Talk about micronutrients and supplements during pregnancy or someone who wants to become pregnant. So you just want to get all of the nutrients that your body needs to thrive, which are from animal foods. The most bioavailable form of nutrients are found in animal foods, not plant foods. All humans are designed and designated by God to digest meat, to consume and digest meat. And so plant foods contain some nutrients that need to be fermented before they're assimilated and used. Cows and gorillas have multiple stomach chambers that can do this, that ferment plants and vegetables and things like that. Humans do not. Humans have one stomach chamber, one stomach, and we are designed to digest meat. So I would highly recommend eating a lot of animal protein and animal fat, saturated animal fats. That is where you're going to get your conjugated linoleic acid, stearic acid, your omega-3s, micronutrients specific to pregnancy that I definitely was very mindful of, your folic acid and folate. So you can get those from egg yolks, you can get it from chicken liver, you can get it from lamb chops. So I ate at least 4 eggs every day, many days 6 eggs. That is what I would recommend. You'll also want to be very mindful of your thyroid. Pregnancy demands a lot of your thyroid. And so I doubled my dose of iodine. I have an iodine video, I have an iodine protocol on Instagram. I am not going to make a recommendation for you in terms of iodine because everyone should be a little different, how you're dosing and how you're starting it, but I doubled my dose of iodine to support the thyroid for myself and for baby. And then your fats. I would say definitely be sure that you're getting plenty of saturated animal fat. Lamb fat is a great source of that. Butter is excellent. DHA coming from brain is fantastic. Salmon is great. Omega-3s from salmon is great, but you're going to get plenty of omega-3s also from lamb. So your fat is significant. One, because fat is a precursor to all of your sex hormones, and that is going to sustain you through pregnancy and even support your breastfeeding after the fact. I can attest to that. My breastfeeding has been awesome. A little too awesome, like leaking all over my shirts, and it's been an adventure. I have supported my hormones with saturated fat, not carbs. I healed my hormones with fat and protein and 0 carbs. I reversed hypothyroidism. I got my period back after not having a cycle for 16 years with high fat. So I know that fat is a huge key to healing, but also sustaining your health and all of your sex hormones, which are heavily involved in pregnancy and breastfeeding and this whole process. And so make sure you're getting your fats. Those fats also play a huge role in the development of the central nervous system and your baby's brain. So that's going to be huge. Those are the main ones I would pay attention to. Supplements. If you're not eating organs, I would recommend a liver supplement because liver is your multivitamin. Don't overdose on it. Don't take more than what's recommended because liver is very rich in vitamin A, and vitamin A toxicity is a thing. So don't take more than what's recommended on the bottle. But if you're not eating organs, then I would recommend probably taking some liver capsules. I love Grassland Nutrition liver and kelp capsules. Kelp is a great source of iodine. Equip Foods makes liver capsules. Those are my 2 favorites, and I have discount codes for both. Equip Foods is tailored, and Grassland Nutrition, my discount code is Rebekah10, I believe. RABEKAH. And if it's not that, then it's tailored 10, but I'm pretty sure it's Rebekah10. Okay, next question. What are my rights in their delivery room? You have a right to say no to everything. You are paying to be there, or your insurance is paying to be there. And so you can say no to everything. And what I would recommend is coming up with a birth plan, writing it out, typing it out, making it easy to read, and then taping it to the wall or a cabinet in the delivery room. That is what I did, and no one gave us a hard time. So that was fantastic. You have every right to say no to everything. If a doctor or nurse makes you feel like you don't, then ask for a new nurse or ask for a new doctor. It's very important to know your rights. But this person was asking in particular and pertaining to vaccines. You can say no to all of them, and they may make you feel skeptical. We did have the pediatrician. She was talking about the vitamin K. I was like, no thanks, I've already done my research. And she said, well, can I print you out an article? And I said, I'm pretty sure I've read enough articles. I've made my decision, but thank you. And she didn't like it, but we moved on and everything was fine. So you might get some pushback, and that's okay. Hold your ground. How do you find an OB who is carnivore? And my answer to this is it shouldn't matter if they are carnivore or support carnivore diet. What I would say is share with your OB that you're healthy. If carnivore has helped you to maintain your health, if it's helped you more than any other way of eating, then you should be proud of it and talk about it. Or if you don't want to dig into it, then just share. I eat a lot of animal proteins and plenty of healthy fats, and I feel great. And so anytime, I was asked multiple times by my OB, are you taking a multivitamin? A prenatal multivitamin. And I said, I'm taking liver every day, which is nature's multivitamin. And she thought that was weird at first, but then they ran my labs and they were like, wow, you look really healthy. Obviously this is working for you. And they just kind of backed off. So if they give you any pushback, go ahead and run some lab work, which they will anyways. So I would just be honest and use it as an opportunity to share about the carnivore diet with someone who may not know about it. So you might not find an OB who's carnivore or even supports it, but they should support you if you're healthy. They should support what you're doing. So I would just present them with the angle of, hey, this has helped me immensely. I feel great, and this is what I plan on doing. Did I get a doula postpartum? So my doulas were amazing. They were there during delivery, and then they paid a visit 3 days after David was born, and then they will visit me one more time 6 weeks postpartum. So that was part of the package that I signed up with them, and it's been fantastic. So they they did help me with breastfeeding when they came over a couple days after he was born. Basically just to make sure he was latching properly. They weighed him to be sure he was transferring while he was feeding, check his coloring, things like that. And it was just really nice to have someone follow up a couple days postpartum, especially because we're not going to any pediatrician, because every pediatrician in our area requires vaccines. They're all vaccine mandated. So we have a natural doctor slash pediatrician that we will go to if we need to, but we won't be doing standard pediatrician visits. David seems perfectly healthy. So my doulas, having them there to follow up after the birth, just to check on David and be like, yeah, he looks healthy, everything is happening the way it should be happening, was reassuring, because this is our first newborn and things happen. Like, he had a little bit of gook in his eye and he had a little bit of redness on his face, and all of these things are normal with newborns. Flakiness on their skin, a little bit of flakiness is normal, and I didn't know that. And so just to have someone there to reassure me and say, yeah, unless it looks like this, you shouldn't be concerned, this is very normal. And even like the latch with breastfeeding was really helpful too, because there are a lot of wrong ways to do breastfeeding, and so I'm really grateful that I found a way to do it that is not painful and is very enjoyable for not just baby but also myself. How to prevent disabilities in utero. So that goes back to the question about the micronutrients and supplements. You just want to be sure that you're giving baby the proper nutrients. I would say that the fat, enough fat and enough protein, basically enough of the right nutrients, is all that's needed. And then taking care of yourself. So if your baby is getting everything that's required to develop a healthy central nervous system and a healthy brain, which primarily is the fat, the right type of fat for both of those things, I don't think you should worry about disabilities. And there's a small chance that something can happen that's kind of out of your control, and that's, God is in control. But I think that just prioritizing your nutrition and your rest and your health is the best thing that you could do. Yeah. So those are all of the questions. If you guys have any more questions, leave them down below and I would be happy to answer them.